Here is from the Washington Post. I'm sorry I can't quote a more reliable source, but this one sounds like a reliable story. An autopsy, and again, I trust the ME who's doing this, the lady who's doing this, and also I know Epstein's lawyer has a very talented and generally well-regarded doctor watching this. An autopsy found that financier Jeffrey Epstein sustained multiple breaks in his neck bones, according to two people familiar with the findings, deepening the mystery about the circumstances around his death. Among the bones broken in Epstein's neck was the hyoid bone, which in men is near the Adam's apple. Such breaks can occur in those who hang themselves, particularly if they're older, according to forensics experts and studies on the subject, but they are more common in victims of homicide by strangulation, the experts said. The details are the first findings to emerge from the autopsy of Epstein, a convicted sex offender. The thing about this is the word is that he strangled himself, he hanged himself by tying a bed sheet to the upper part of a bunk and then basically kneeling down and strangling himself. Hard to imagine that breaks a bone, right? It's with a soft cloth, and it's not like dropping off a ladder, dropping through a trap door like when you're being hanged. So if these findings pan out, if the story pans out, again, it's just really suspicious. You don't need to be a conspiracy theorist to think, wait, what the hell is going on? There was another story recently from CBS News. On the morning of Jeffrey Epstein's death, there was shouting and shrieking from his jail cell. So, I mean, all we need is video now of Bill Clinton like running down the hallway and escaping, and suddenly Donald Trump is going to sound like a lot more perspicacious than he did when he basically retweeted this. From the Daily Beast, yet another story. I got to read these stories because this is just the stuff that's been piling up. I didn't cover this yesterday, and this is stuff that's piling up. Members of Congress, furious over Jeffrey Epstein's death in federal custody, are set on getting to the bottom of it before the many conspiracy theories swirling around the accused serial sex offender's demise completely overshadow the facts. They're obviously running far behind by the time the Democratic and Republican leaders of the House Judiciary Committee sent a letter to the Federal Bureau of Prisons on Monday demanding answers about the circumstances of Epstein's apparent suicide. The country already had 2 full days to marinate in President Trump's retweet. So it's all President Trump's fault. Listen, it doesn't take President Trump to see a conspiracy here. And again, we're talking about a media that gave us the Russian collusion conspiracy all this time. There was simply no evidence, zero evidence that Donald Trump was in some kind of coordinated relationship with Russians to throw the election. All the evidence now, really all of it, is on the other side, that it was Barack Obama and his spy organizations that were colluding and conspiring against him. Andrew C. McCarthy has a new book out about this called Ball of Collusion. We're trying to get him on the line for today. Hopefully he'll be here later in the show. But, when you talk about this stuff, this story about sexual abuse of young people, and I know I've talked about this a lot, but I think about it a lot. As I said, it's part of the plot of Another Kingdom Part 3, which will be starting as a podcast in September. And it's part of the plot because I think it is at the core of the kind of corruption that's going on among our elites. We have an elite that has lost its idea that there is some kind of religious meaning to life. We have an elite that is so separated from the rank and file of Americans that they think it's perfectly fine to run a scam to throw the president out because they don't like him, because he's not one of them. That we have this elite that has lost its way. And one of the things that people do when they are so powerful that no one can touch them, that no one wants to touch them, when the press is in their pocket, because the press is part of them. The press is the elite, right? Where the press reporters used to be working class guys who loved taking down the powerful, no matter who they were. Now, when that happens, the upper middle management who has control over the editorials, they kill those stories. That's why Cheryl Atkinson isn't at CBS anymore. That's why there were no stories about Obama abusing his power. They are part of this thing. When you have that, young people are going to get abused because, as Roman Polanski said after he raped and drugged and sodomized a little girl, he said, "What's the problem? We all like young girls." Well, yes, we do. We all are attracted to young girls. That doesn't make it right. I know this is such a tough thing for elites to understand. I mean, I remember Woody Allen when he was in that scandal going off with Mia Farrow's adopted child. He said, well, the heart wants what it wants. Well, screw your heart and what it wants. We all know. I mean, all you have to do is go back to Aristotle, who says all ethics goes against our desires. That's what ethics are. That's what morality is. But once you get so powerful, once you lose the plot of religious life and metaphysics, you stop thinking about that stuff, and it just seems right. Those girls are there. They're attractive. You want them. Why shouldn't you have them? The heart wants what it wants. I've got the money. I've got the little island where nobody can find me. I've got the private jet. Why not? I hope you enjoyed that clip from The Andrew Klavan Show. If you did, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you stay up to date on all our future content.